A warm welcome to everyone to this webinar on role of cloud computing and IoT for smart applications. On behalf of our PhD institution and our Department of Networking and Mobile Application, I would like to extend my special welcome to Dr. V. Bhanuvati Ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronic and Communication Engineering, Anna University Regional Campus, Coimbatore. She completed her BE in Madras University, ME Communication System in Anna University, Chennai, and PhD in the area of wireless networking under the Faculty of Information and Communication Engineering in Anna University, Chennai. She has worked as a lecturer in the Department of IT, as BSc Crescent Engineering College, Chennai, and currently working as an assistant professor in the Department of ECE, Anna University, Regional Campus Coimbatore from 2008 to till date. She has got more than 15 years of teaching experience and 12 years of industrial experience. Under her supervision, 5 scholars completed their PhD and 5 more scholars are pursuing PhD. She has published 43 papers in international journals, 33 in international conferences, including IEEE, and more than 70 papers in national conferences. She has delivered 21 invited talks in Anna University and AACTE sponsored faculty development programs and in workshops and seminars. She has been a session chair in various national and international conferences. Her areas of interest are wireless and mobile communication, network security, and digital communication. I would like to welcome our respected head of the department, Dr. P. Nitya ma'am, dear staff members, and our beloved students for this wonderful occasion. Now I call upon Dr. Bhanuvati ma'am to deliver the webinar. Bhanuvati ma'am, shall we start ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Good morning to everyone. Thank you for the invitation, and I'm very much happy to spend my 1 hour time uh, in discussing with you about cloud and internet of things. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the invitation. I think my screen is visible to everyone. Is it visible? So first, I would like to tell you, because you people are belonging to networking and mobile application course, you might be aware of the recent things and how we can go with this for realizing each and every idea, whatever we decide to do as a smart system. So just I will touch upon some of the basics about cloud and IoT, and I have some case studies related with some applications related with uh, agriculture and healthcare. So we will go one by one. Am I audible? No problem at all, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it
Yes, ma'am.
clear?
Audible, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. So we will go with the history of cloud. You know, if we say cloud, we know the cloud and the sky, right? So it is something beyond our reach, and we can visualize, and it is of different nature, different forms, different shapes, right? So like that, here we can store some data. Uh, for that, we are not actually depending on our system or our mobile memory. We go with some new thing that we call it as a cloud. So you might have seen in your real time, day to day mail applications, Google Drive. That is a best example of a cloud system, right? So we can why this cloud is necessary for us? Being a student, being a company entrepreneur, or being a company proprietor or an organization, why this cloud plays a major role nowadays. So we have to think of that. Earlier, no, see, whatever we do, we store it in some systems. You might have seen or you might not have seen the floppy disk, right? You might have heard the word at least, right? Floppy disk. See, nowadays nobody is using that. Is a small memory device. We will be carrying it, right? After that, we come across CD, and then now external hard disk, and then pen drives naturally. But beyond that, we go with the external hard disk. Like that, the companies know they will be having huge amount of data. They will be processing huge amount of data. They will be having so many different details of data, right? Different forms of data. So they cannot store in that days, that is in 1970s or 60s, they cannot store the data in their own system, right? So in that case, they depend upon one computer system called the mainframe system. The mainframe system, if we say it is of a very big size, very big size. So we need a separate room for it to store, and we have it is very hugely expensive also. So each and every company they cannot afford to get that mainframe computer systems for their personal use, personal company, right? They cannot purchase for each and every company. So in that case, they go with the dependence of the mainframe system, and they will be storing the data in it. But due to its expensive nature, not all the organizations can go behind it. So in that case, no, we invented some personal computers, and the personal computers, no, it came up with whatever I told you about the floppy disk, CD drive, and then the pen drive, and then the external hard disk, right? So all these realizations have come up in 1980s, and then the companies, no, their data it can be easily stored in their own systems. Okay, so each and every person can be given a personal computer, and they can whatever they do, they process, they can store. But that too become very expensive because they have very huge amount of data. So how to store it in the computers, personal computers? So they depend upon a cloud system. So like this, the cloud came into picture. So how to activate the cloud? How to make it realized? How to connect the cloud to our system? So there comes internet. So whoever is having internet connectivity can avail the facility of cloud. So you can think of that whether this cloud is easily is it a open source? Whether we can get it just like that? No, we have to pay for it. So how to pay for it? Whether it is a prepaid card like our a mobile SIM, like here recharging, no, like prepaid or postpaid, like that we have to pay. Yes, it is similar to that. So how much we utilize, how much we use, we have to pay for the cloud usage. So who is providing this cloud? So there comes Amazon, Google, Microsoft. So they have huge servers. They have huge storage of devices. They have enough space to store, so that they are renting for us to store. So they are the basic primary cloud suppliers, you can say, cloud providers, you can say. So, with the help of these Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, we can go behind them and we can hire, we can pay, and we can utilize, right? So we can simply say the cloud is nothing but your Google Drive. So if you store all the files, for example, your study materials or else your some picnic photos, everything, if you are unable to store in your laptop or desktop, you can store it in your cloud with the help of your Google Drive, right? So in that case, it is a best example of that. See, for this cloud Google Drive, you are not paying it, but for other purposes, no, in that case, no, you have to pay, but it is very minimum. However, you are using, how much you are using, you have to pay for it. So it becomes a cost-effective system when you compare this with your mainframe systems. So all the business peoples, companies, organizations, everybody went behind this cloud and they started using it. So you can take two examples. One I told you, whatever you are storing it in your personal computer, you can store it in your Google Drive if you have provided a Gmail account, right? And the second thing is, see, whenever you are driving a vehicle or you are going in a bus, you can listen to a song that without downloading. So you can use a thing called Spotify. It is a cloud service provided by Amazon, and you can load the preferred songs, and you can make use of Spotify to listen to it. Right? Not only songs, you can make your studies also even more simpler by listening to some YouTube video lectures with the help of this Spotify, right? So everything nowadays it becomes very easy. So with the help of this cloud, you can make a realization. So whatever we think that it cannot be done, it can be done with the help of the cloud computing. That's why, this cloud computing with the help of internet, it is everywhere used. That's why we say the applications, whatever we are trying to use as smart applications, right? So this cloud computing, we go with the delivery of the services. The services, what we expect is storage of data, and we want to go with the networking, right? So all these things we do with the cloud over the internet. We call it as a cloud computing, and the advantages I told you, that it is very cost effective, and speed also very higher, and we can say this cloud computing is a scalable one. The meaning of scalability in general, we will be taking in the sense of like increasing or decreasing, right? Here, how much amount of resources in the sense is memory, you are utilizing in the cloud, that we say it as a scalable. And then the performance, that is the second point, right? The speed of computation in cloud is very much higher, so there will not be any delay in it. So you can think this with your, you can compare this with your Spotify. See, I told you that without downloading, you can listen to the music, you can listen to the songs, whatever you are liking, right? Without any delay. Suppose if you are directly downloading from your mobile or your laptop, in that case, there will be some time, depending upon the internet speed, yeah, the speed will vary. That is, your downloading speed will vary. You will get some delay. That we call it as a latency. So that will not be there in when you realize that with the help of your cloud service. Cloud service. And then reliability. Because it is all like see, even though I store it in Google Drive, I have some security, right? Because with my Gmail account, I can visualize my supportive documents, whatever I store it in cloud. So I can I can have a reliable service. I can get a reliable service, and it can be mirrored in multiple places. This cloud, no, we can it can provide you some support by storing it in redundant places. So your data will become very reliable. And security, no, security plays a major role in cloud computing. Our data will be definitely secured. Our data will be secured. And we have the classification of cloud computing as two types. One is public cloud and private cloud. And the public cloud, if you see, it provides you some base in the sense is infrastructure. Infrastructure in the sense is some environment to work out, right? And that infrastructure, no, it supports to utilize the resources and services, and it can be provided to many people. We can say that public cloud, we can say it as it will be consisting of more number of or n number of clients. We can say this as a multi-tenant environment. Because why we call it as a tenant? Because we are hiring some space in the cloud, right? So not alone it is providing to single person. It is providing to multiple person. That's why it is called as a multi-tenant environment. Multi-tenant environment, and it is free also. So this public cloud, it can provide the services, or it can allocate some memory spaces or the resources, whatever the user is requesting, to multiple users. So we call it as a multi-tenant environment. So, however, how much the utilization, the basic things, it will become free. But when you go for utilizing more resources, you have to pay for it. But how much you are using, that for that alone you can pay, right? And the example of this public clouds are Azure, that is from Microsoft, and IBM is providing you Blue Cloud, and the base Google Drive, that is from Gmail, and some Google apps. So all these are examples for public cloud. And the next comes your private cloud. It is meant for a single organization, so it can be owned by a single company. So that's why it is called as a private cloud, like your private variable, public variable, right? You know the difference between those two, right? So in that case, if you suppose in your C language programming, if you declare the variable as private, that will be meant to only for that particular process, for that function, right? If you say it, if you declare it as a public, it can access anywhere, right? That is the meaning here. Here it is meant for a single person, and the public is meant for multi. So the example is VMware vCloud Director OpenStack. See, you might have realized this, you might have used also VMware. Suppose if you want to utilize some Linux environment rather than this Windows OS, in that case, no, you might have seen this VMware facility. So this VMware, you go for making your laptop memory or desktop memory as virtual. So you will be installing some software in order to have a division of your memory, that is your hard disk, separately, and that will be like a hidden storage you can utilize. So that is your private cloud. And the third thing is hybrid cloud. It is a combination of your private and public cloud. So we go with the combination of private and public, and we take the advantage of both the things, private and public, and we come up with a hybrid technology called a hybrid cloud. And how to deploy this cloud computing? So in that case, the deployment is of three types: infrastructure as a service, software as a service, and platform as a service. So you can see that the word itself, it gives you some meaning: infrastructure as a service, software as a service, platform as a service. So meaning that we go with the utilization of the cloud computing based on infrastructure, based on software, based on platform where we work. So the first one, infrastructure is a service. It offers you to store some essential data, and in that case, no, the resources will be allocated to you on demand, meaning that whenever you are in need of storing or whenever you are requiring some space, you will be given, right? So it is a base architecture cloud service, um, basically. So that is your infrastructure as a service. So in that case, no, the customer, that is we, whoever is opting for this cloud service, will be given a plan that meets out our needs, and it will be maintained in the own server. So whoever is providing, for example, if you go with Microsoft, the Azure is your cloud service. So with that, it can provide you the infrastructure as a service, and we can do the computation, storage, etc. How much we are using, that much we have to pay for it. And the next is your platform as a service. Here, if you say it is a platform, it mainly focused on what is the nature of application you are trying to do with the cloud. You are trying to do with the cloud. So in that case, no, here also the same Microsoft and Amazon helps you in order to giving you the service to access the cloud. But here, no, the operating system, databases, and whatever the programming language you are choosing, all those things will be provided by the cloud, provided by the cloud. And you can create a platform with the help of the service provided by the cloud. So we call it as a platform as a service. And if you utilize the hardware, software, tools, everything, whatever is given by the cloud for a particular application, and how much you are using, that much you have to pay. So that's why, no, this TCS, CTS, everybody is utilizing Amazon Web Server. That is your that thing, and this Microsoft Azure. You might have you might have come across some people. They are working in some application developments. They no, they are depending on this cloud architectures, and they are using it, Amazon Web Service, AWS. That is very popular, and they are depending on that in order to create their application developments. Many people are working. Suppose if you want to go with some app development, no, you can go in depth into this cloud service environments. That is infrastructure as a base, and platform as a service, and software as a service. You can go with this, and you can have a realization of your applications. And in software as a service, here, no, you can the host can give and manage services to the entire like your base. systems and as well as to your application. That's why it is giving you as a software as a service. So you can own the softwares provided by the client as a you can access as a third party over the internet. Third party over the internet. Again, again, this is also pay for the service. The scheme is pay for the service provided to you. So the example is Dropmail, Salesforce, BigCommerce, Gentus. See, so many examples I'm giving you at the bottom of this thing. You can go with this and you can get in-depth knowledge about this when you go with the application developments related with cloud. And you can now conclude at last the advantages of cloud as a it is a cost-effective system, and in that sense, however you how much you are using, you can pay for it, right? And we have the scalability feature here, and we can say the reliable thing this cloud computing, right? So whatever we can go with the applications that can be realized as a smart application with the help of the cloud. Okay. So up till this, I have given you some basic explanation about the cloud. And next we go with the Internet of Things. See, best example of Internet of Things is like your Ola car, Ola auto, right? So it is all connected through internet of devices. See, all the devices are connected via the internet, and we can have a combined application, and it is providing you some service, right? So the base Vola, it is an example of the Internet of Things. But when you go with the some application, in that case, no, you deploy some sensors and you implement some algorithms that we call it as intelligence. That intelligence, whatever we have some idea about some application, we can implement as a design with the help of Internet of Things, and we can make it as a realization, right? So in that case, no, how this Internet of Things has become popular. See, earlier, no, we have the RFID tags. So these are all low chips, power chips that can communicate to the people wirelessly. And for that, we come across this RFID, right? So, what is the problem here? No, see, whoever is having the RFID tags and as well as the internet, in that case, no, they can able to exchange their information, right? But next comes the IP protocol that you know that is your base protocol for your internet communication, TCP/IP, right? So that IP version 4 is replaced with IP version 6. So whatever is IP version 4 or IP version 6, with that, no, we can reach to everyone with the help of IP addresses. We can find or we can search with the help of IP addresses, and we can make a communication. So that we call it as an Internet of Things. So now, next, no, see this Internet of Things. It is coined by Kevin Aston, and we can have a communication over the devices, right? So if we have a communication over the devices, we can realize some applications. So we can connect the devices, right, in order to have a digital information transfer over the internet. We call it as a Internet of Things. Internet of Things. Why it is given as Internet of Things? Because we go with communicating different devices, interrelated computing devices, and we can able to make a data transfer over the network, right? So in that case, we can have a machine to machine communication, or human to machine communication, or human to human communication. Everything is possible under the Internet of Things. So this Internet of Things is basically called as a control networks, and in that control networks, no, we can have an integration of the things collected from the humans or machines, and we can make a automation in that sense. We can process, we can have a control over the devices, over the systems, and we can make it. So that's why no, this IoT earlier it was called as a control networks. Control networks. And how we can have a IoT connectivity, that you know basically. See, I told you that basically we need internet in order to have a communication of the devices, right? Communication of the devices, in that case, the devices can share the data, can process the data, and it can respond to it. So in that case, the supporting technologies behind the IoT connectivity, you can say it as Wi-Fi, Zigbee, Bluetooth, and then with the help of this, suppose you want to make an application as smart vehicle, smart vehicle communication. So in that case, we depend upon 4G, 5G, 6G, so on, right? So in that case, no, the base technology it is supporting is LTE, that is long-term evolution. So in that case, we can share the data, we can communicate the data over the satellite to reach the devices. So we can have a machine-to-machine communication in IoT connectivity. So these are the basic softwares we depend on in order to have a connectivity over the internet. So basically Wi-Fi, Zigbee, Bluetooth, and then LTE. If you say LTE, it is 3G, 4G, 5G, etc. So all these things, what is the purpose of having a communication? No? See, whatever we see in daily life, in our home, in our office, we want to have a communication. We want to talk to machines. We want to talk to machines over the supporting protocols, internet-based protocols. So, what are the basic internet protocols it supports to have a communication to machine? You know that is your IP version 6, HTTP, TCP/IP, all those things. So in that case, no, we this IETE, you know, this is our Internet Engineering Task Force. It proposed some protocols in order to have a device communication, that is our 6LoWPAN. If you say PAN, it is nothing but personal area network. So that 6LoWPAN, if you say it is based on your IP version 6, right? And the base PAN network is your Zigbee, Bluetooth, that you know now. That is your base personal area network. And then with the help of your RPL protocol, routing protocol, you can able to have a communication over the devices. And then another protocol it supports for this device communication is constrained application protocol. So you can go with the communicating with the machine to machine. So in that case, if you say machine, you can call it as a device also. So the device it shares or it transfers the data. That data it will be deriving from its sensors, right? The sensor will be located in the device, it will be placed in the device. So the machine will will share the sensor's data to the neighboring devices or the IoT gateway in order to have a communication over the end devices. Okay, so in that case, no, that whenever the data, that is sensors data, it will be shared to other devices. In that case, it may depend on the cloud to store the data. So there comes the cloud. combination in Internet of Things. That's why, the cloud and IoT, you may see in almost all the applications, these two are clubbed together. These two got clubbed together. So in IoT, what we do basically is, you'll be having always all the sensors. It will be deployed in the devices. Whatever is the application related with that, we will be choosing the sensors, and those sensors will be placed in the devices, and the sensors will collect the data, and it will communicate over the internet. Yes, in that case, the internet, we can directly just transfer the data, or else suppose we want to have a prediction. Suppose we want to have a prediction of weather in a particular place. In that case, we will be implementing some sensors over the data, I mean over the environment, over the field, and we need to measure the climate weather at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., like that, for almost every 1 hour. So in that case, this data, suppose we are choosing for 1 acre of land. In that case, we cannot guess it at one place. We cannot place the sensor in a single place, and we cannot analyze. So in that case, we will be deploying, for example, some 10 sensors with some 100 meters distance, and we can measure, we can take an average. So in that case, the collection of data is becoming very huge in Internet of Things. So there comes the big data. So if you say it is a big data, the name itself says you the data is very big. The data is very big. The data is very big is not a single data is very big. We have huge collection of data. Huge collection of data. For example, if you are monitoring the weather, say I told you it is of just 1 acre. Okay, suppose if you want to analyze a weather over a city, in that case, we cannot judge with a single census data. We have to place it in multiple places, and we can take the collection of all the data, and then we can make an average, and then only we can come to a conclusion. So there comes the data, that is your big data. Okay, so the analysis of big data is also important when you go with the application related with cloud and IoT. That's why, you might have seen in some applications this big data, right? And so all the applications, see, I told you the topic itself is meant for smart applications, right? So the smart applications, we need all the intelligence as smart, or all the applications as smart in real life. So all the real-time data, it is not just a single data. We cannot come to a conclusion with a single data derived from the single sensor. So in that case, whatever is your real-time processing, mm, we have to go with the collection of multiple data. In that case, no, the data size is becoming very high. So we say that as a traffic. We say that as a traffic. Being like a networking student, you might have heard about constant bitrate traffic, variable bitrate traffic. Am I right? Otherwise you just find out. We so the data, it is a simple word, but we have to say it as a traffic, right? It can be a CBR data, that is constant bitrate traffic data, or else a variable bitrate traffic data. In that case, the data or the traffic, it is becoming very huge, because the number of devices over the internet, it is going to be very high. because you know that nowadays, see, anybody can live without food or without sleep, but they cannot uh, survive even without internet and mobile, right? So in that case, it is becoming very huge. So billions of devices are connected each and every moment, and the traffic over the internet is becoming very huge. In that case, the processing related with some applications, it is becoming very tough. So we have to go with the big data analytics. Okay, so I told you about cloud computing, Internet of Things, and big data. I told you some of the features also. Now, what is the purpose of utilizing this cloud computing in the daily real-time applications? Because it improves the efficiency of the communication in the real-time application. So, how to go with no? See, we collect the data from the IoT devices with the help of sensors, and we want to just transfer, or else we want to have a prediction, for example, over the weather, over the rain, over the climate. In that case, we want to store it temporarily or permanently. In that case, where to store? Because I told you the collection of data or the collected data, it is becoming very huge, it is very massive. In that case, we have to store it in some memory. So we are not depending on some mainframe systems to store, we depend on the cloud. So we are storing it in cloud in order to have a processing later on time, and then we can access the data, we can process. So that processing of data, big data comes into picture, storage of data in a place, cloud computing comes into picture, and then who is the major role player is your IoT, because the sensors, it plays a major role in Internet of Things. So you can think of how to implement, what to see, how to choose some sensors for some application, how to deploy it, how to have a accessing of data, because the sensor data, it is nothing but a voltage value, simply a voltage value, because it is an electronic equipment, small chip or a small device, it is providing you some voltage value, even for rain value, even for temperature, pressure, everything. So how to convert into suitable form according to the requirement. So according to the application, you have to choose the sensors, you have to choose the sensors, and how to make a transfer of it. So there comes fog computing and cloud edge computing. So what are all these? See, we say blindly that our IoT, our cloud, it is all dependent on internet, right? Okay. If you say basically internet, you know that base of internet, for example, if you are deploying wireless local area network, whose your base, your ethernet. That is your wired local access is your base. That is your IEEE 802.3. And then you come to local area network WLAN, and then your data is transmitting over the WAN, MAN, etc. And you access Google, you access Google Maps, you access Yahoo domain, right? That's why your internet, it is crossing different types of networks. It is crossing different types of networks. Okay. So in that case, see, you can simply think of that I told you for a internet basis your wired network, that is your ethernet 802.3, and then you are coming to 802.11, and then you are going with WAN environment, MAN environment, and you are reaching satellite, and you are searching for your domain name DNS server you are searching for. Right. So in that case, see, we have some border for each and every network. Like that, when you combine the IoT with the cloud, who is at the border? Who is going to transfer the IoT data to the cloud? Right. So the border devices, whoever is residing in the corners, whoever is in the borders, that we call it as a edge computing, fog computing. Okay, so what is the purpose of these fog and edge in IoT and cloud integration is, see, they slow down, they will help the cloud computing to process or to store the data easily, so it supports basically the network traffic network traffic. So in that case, no, the connected systems will just um, burst its traffic, but that bursting definitely it will make the cloud to overwhelm, right? So in that case, no, in order to reduce the overwhelming of the cloud, we go with the edge computing and fog computing. So it introduces some new concepts. It will reduce the traffic of the cloud and it can make the smooth processing of your real-time applications. Okay. So we can say that uh, the real-time application automation will definitely have IoT and cloud and data analytics. That data analytics we can say that as a big data. But beyond these things, these three, this edge and fog computing will also help in processing all the real-time applications. Okay, time is going on. Just I will make faster. Okay, and then some cloud services. It will make a IoT cloud platform in order to have a realization of an application. So in that case, I told you the cloud service providers by Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. So they help you to have a utilization of the platform that is your cloud service for a particular application. For a particular application. See, I have given some points related with Microsoft Azure. So this Azure, it is a Microsoft cloud platform. So it is like your AWS, that is your Amazon Web Service, because that is your popular cloud service by Amazon. So most probably, almost all are utilizing that AWS, and so it is a platform we can it can help you to access or utilize the resources that the Microsoft is having. So it is like a huge server. It is a huge server. So we request some space in the server in order to have a data processing, and then it will be definitely providing you, and we can easily monitor and we can easily store it. We can be given whenever we are in need, because we have earlier seen that cloud computing, it is a service provided by cloud and it is very cost effective. It is having very minimum latency, very minimum the latency. So without any delay, it can provide you the service. Right. So there are two kinds of IoT software architectures. One is cloud centric, other is device centric. So when we go with the device centric applications, then there comes your edge computing and fog computing. So if it is going to be cloud centric, in that case, no, the data collected from the IoT devices in the senses, the data from the sensors will be processed or will be stored in the data center, and based on your application requirement, the decision will be taken, and here the cloud have the control over it and the edge devices too. But in device centric, no, we are purely depend upon the data which is present in the device, that is your sensor nodes. So in that case, no, all the computations or with respect to the devices, so we go with the edge computing and fog computing. So I told you the computation, whatever is happening in the border of the network, that we call it as an edge of a network. That's why now this computing we call it as a edge computing. We call it as a edge computing. Okay, so before sending the data to the cloud for processing, it will be aggregated in the border of the network. So in that case, we prevent the cloud to not to be overloaded, and that will be reduced, or that burden will be taken care by the edge computing. Edge computing. Okay, so this is a simple diagram showing you how where the edge computing present. Right. So the outer you can see those are a collection of devices. Those are all connected in the internet. We call it as the Internet of Things. And the second round, inner round, that we call it as the devices, edge nodes, we can call it as. Those are at the border of the Internet of Things. So border in the senses, it can be in the middle of your cloud platform and your IoT, so that it can reduce the burden of the cloud, right? It will not make the cloud to be overloaded. So it can reduce the data traffic in the cloud, right? So this is an example diagram showing you where the edge computing comes into play. Okay, I told you fog and edge. You can simply say that for computing is similar to your cloud computing. Both are same, but um, cloud has a little bit of less security when compared to the fog computing, and the computation it will be done in the local devices, and depending upon the nature of the computation, nature of the place of the nodes, we call it as a fog nodes or edge devices or fog devices. But the difference in the between this fog and edges, you can say that the fog node will be always closer to the source node. Source node in the sense is, see, suppose you are analyzing some weather, for example. So in that case, no, there will be. I told you there are so many sensor nodes will be deployed in the environment in order to collect the data, right? So in that case, no, there comes wireless sensor networks. So you can form a group of sensors. You can call it as a sensor network, and in that anybody can act as a server. So that server will be collecting the data. The server is nothing but a sensor device. A device which is having a sensor node can act as a server, and it can collect the data from all the remaining nodes, and it can transfer that data to the cloud, right? So that node, whoever is collecting the data, their which node is nearer to that source node, we call it as a fog node. The edge node is one which is residing at the border of the network, and through that edge node, we transfer the data to the cloud. Okay. So, edge computation, we say that it is a data computation that happens at the border of the network, border of the network. But this fog is between the edge and the cloud, between the edge and the cloud. So, um, some like filtration of some data. So that fog will support both the edge and the cloud. So sometimes we call the fog computing as cloud computing. That's why we call the fog as a cloud. And next comes the applications. See, the smart applications I told you, right? So, whichever is using some intelligence in order to make the system or the device as an automated one, we call it as a smart home, smart city, self-driven cars. You know that Tesla has come up with self-driven cars, right? So there are also some interesting future. See that our internet TCP/IP we are using. What is the internet in self-driven cars? Tesla, Starlink, right? So that is another popular internet service provided by the satellite. That is your near future. You will be having the Starlink internet connectivity. That is your forthcoming internet thing for the Tesla, like self-driven cars. That is your very interesting internet topic in the next thing. And smart farming, smart wearables, and with that we can have a smart healthcare systems, right? All these are applications. I have some of the layouts for some applications. I think it is difficult to visualize, I think. Okay. See, I told you basically all the sensor nodes will be grouped together in an environment. For example, for climate monitoring or weather monitoring, that becomes your physical layer. That is your bottom layer. You can note down. There is a physical layer. It is your wireless sensor network. See, you can compare this layer concept with your seven layer concept. I think you are being a computer science student, you will be aware of that seven layer concept, right? Physical layer, data link, network layer, transport layer, right? Whatever is the layer configuration is defined for a single computer, single system, that will be meant for a particular application. So all the sensor nodes that we call it as a physical layer, and then a communication layer. There comes the internet connectivity. I told you know IoT connectivity. So there we will be deploying some LTE, Bluetooth, Zigbee, all those things. And then in the application layer, we can group the application layer into different types. One is sensor centric, that is whether the data collection it is for data collection. The sensor nodes is for data collection, or else the sensor nodes is for maintenance, or else it is meant for joining to the network. That is your sensor network. And then middleware is your workflow and cloud management, how we go with that. And then the client centric, it is nothing but your the user requirement. So how long you need to have the collection of data, and how you are depending on the application, and then what is your requirement, that is your what is your user requirement, that is your application end result of your application. So whether you are going for healthcare, smart city, industry automation, environmental monitoring, or else agriculture, so those should be your client system. So these are all coming under application layer, and the basis were communication layer, and then the data collection is your physical layer. So this is an overall diagram stating how the layer configuration for a particular application looks like, and how we have the things. Okay, so you have n number of applications. I have given you some slides related with farming, healthcare, and industrial automation. So if you say smart farming, it is related with your agriculture, right? See, because our Coimbatore, it is purely of agriculture and industry, right? So we have 50% industry, 50% agriculture. So we have so many problems related with our farming. So in that case, now you can come up with some irrigation app, or else livestock farming app, or else crop management. Everything you can do with the. So you can go with the sensors related with soil, water, yes, and you can come up with some soil health monitoring, or else irrigation control, or cattle monitoring, and asset monitoring. So these are some example slides showing. So these are all some basic applications, like, or else you can go with the UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle, that is a drone, in order to spill the water, or in order to spill the fertilizers into the crop, right? And you can monitor with your mobile device what is happening by sitting at your home, right? So all these are made possible with the realization of your internet and all your cloud. So this is an example slide showing you. See, there is a farmer, and he is having a mobile or some laptop, and he can able to visualize what is the data collected by the drone placed in the field, like agricultural field, and how that is transferred with the help of the devices, that is IoT devices, to the cloud servers, and the cloud servers with the help of your cloud service platforms, it can analyze the data, it can make you to make a decision, and the farmer can visualize that cloud analysis. So there the analysis is our big data, and the data collection is, that is UAV drone data collection in the field is by the help of the sensors located in the IoT devices, and then it will be transferred to the cloud service. So this is what an overall architect, diagram of your smart farming. And for example, suppose if you want to monitor the animals, suppose you can think of monitoring the wild animals in the forest. So what can be done? So we can place some sensors in the we can place the sensors in the animals, and we can watch in your mobile where the animal is located. For example, suppose you want to monitor your cows and cattle, right? In that case, no, you can deploy some sensors in the cow, for example, or else goats, right? And you can leave them free over the field, and with your mobile, no, you can find out. where is the animal, right? So all these can be done with the help of this IoT. And you can make a process also, right? You can find out uh, other than our animal, whoever is interrupting, that also can be done with by implementing some other algorithms into it, and you can do with this. This is a health monitoring diagram. So with this, no, with this here, many sensors will be deployed in a human body, and we'll be having a controller in the body, and the controller itself is another sensor node. So that will act as a head, and it will collect the data from the different sensors, and it will inform to the central coordinator, because this human, no, he may be in a serious condition, or else um, it is a situation that he has to be monitored promptly or frequently, and he cannot be placed in the hospital. So in that case, no, the human can lie in the house, and his data, his collected sensor data can be monitored by the doctor uh, at that time itself, or else it can be stored for future predictions. Suppose a human ECG or EEG will we have to be monitored for 1 day or 2 days. In that case, the data will be stored in the cloud, and then the doctor can look on to that data, and he can have a prediction over the nature of the disease, and he can guide the patient to have the further steps, right? So in that case, no, this is another diagram showing you over the cloud service, and how the data is transferred over the internet to the health center, that is the doctor. The doctor may be at home or maybe at the hospital, so the data can be informed to both the places, and it can be um, performed together, and it can make you a correct decision, right? So the prediction, it will be of very good when you go with some processing. So this is another area where the big data comes into picture for smart health. See, I told you, see, for a patient, not alone the temperature to be measured, right? Uniformly, because the patient may be of very sick. So in that case, no, his blood pressure, MRI, and sugar level, EEG, ECG, everything to be monitored, and it has to be processed. So in that case, no, we will be getting different types of data, and the data is becoming very huge, and we have to go with some analytic techniques in order to group the data, group the big data, and we can implement some algorithms in order to have a process. So there comes into picture your algorithms. So I told you simply algorithms, right? For example, if you go with some clustering, the word says you grouping of, right? So you have heard of that fuzzy clustering. K means clustering, fuzzy C means clustering. So many clustering algorithms are there, or else you simply go with fussification, and you implement some rules in order to have a grouping of the data. See, all the EEG data will be of different form. Your temperature sensor data will be of different form, right? So the format is different. See, I told you, no, there are different types of traffics, CBR traffic, VBR traffic. So the data, depending upon your data traffic, it has to be processed. So in that case, no, we have to go with some algorithms So there comes your machine learning and artificial intelligence and so many techniques you can implement and you can come up with the decision. You can come up with the decision. So those things can be done with. So this is a diagram showing you how the analytics can be done with. And then if you want to make a industry automation. So in that case, no, what are the things can be done with industry? So in that case, no, we can implement some sensors in order to find out the fire leakage, etc. And then gas leakage, and then we can go with some preventive measures in an industry if you implement this IoT and cloud. So why these things come into play? No, see, we deploy some devices and we try to monitor continuously because with a single monitoring of data, we cannot come to a decision. So in that case, no, we go for a long period of data. We go with so many number of samples of data. That's why, no, I told you that machine learning concept and artificial intelligence concept comes into play in order to fine tune our decisions. So all these things will be deployed in the big data and it is going to have a processing and it will give you a solution. So this is a diagram showing you how the industrial automation can be done. And then smart home, it is a simple automation because you can measure your water tank level and you can switch on your motors. You can get to know whether there is a leakage or whether there is a overflow, or else you can monitor your daily current usage if you fix IoT device into the energy meter or electricity meter, and you can look on all the things and you can make the home as a smart home, right? And what is the future? No, see, for in order to have the um, success in IoT and the cloud, we have to go with the um, combined nature of Internet of Things with the cloud. Then only we can get to know the success of our applications, success of our applications. And these are some additional applications like we can make the city as smart by making the traffic by making control over the traffic or waste management, water distribution, electricity distribution. All those things can be monitored continuously with the help of IoT and cloud. We can make it as a smart. And then self-driven cars, I told you, it is also once again come up with some sensors in order to have a view over the road and traffic conditions, and it can go with the best things. So these are some AI based platforms for precision agriculture. It is an older one. It is in 1990 um, decision platform. And so the agricultural field only, it is a very emerging field and it is utilizing that IoT and cloud a lot, agriculture and even healthcare nowadays, because this COVID is not leaving us, right? So you can see in almost in all the papers, all the conferences, symposiums, all the whatever is our funding, everything, no, you can see the top topic is related with your healthcare. Whatever is your idea related with COVID, you can give up a proposal related with the COVID for a precautionary measure. So the farming and healthcare it is going very peak in order to have a identity, right? Okay, I think I told you some of the things. And other technology is blockchain. It is also a very much an important field nowadays. Um, you can concentrate on this blockchain technology, and there are many vacancies, many companies, even TCS and all, they are opting for this blockchain. Uh, the persons who are interested in working this blockchain, it is with this blockchain technology, no, we can make the trade or business as one platform, right? Nobody can cheat anybody. And the ultimate result is the farmers will not get lost. They will all be benefited evenly. So with this blockchain, no, many applications we can relate with this blockchain also. And at last, what I'm trying to say is this machine learning, it is the future of our, what to say, in all the fields, no, we try to optimize with the help of machine learning, ML and AI, right? So we can go with the process. I think I can stop. Any doubts? Any doubts?
Students, if you have any queries, you can ask ma'am.
Okay, thank you for your patient listening. I think I don't know whether I have bored you or something you learned from this. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for organizing this webinar. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank,
HOD ma'am. Thank you, Sanupriya ma'am. Thank you.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Thank you, both of you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your wonderful delivery of this webinar, ma'am. Thank you all.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.